Hello and welcome to ET Auto. I have here with me Mr. Harish Seth, Chairman and Managing Director of Setco Automotive, India's one of the largest clutch manufacturer for commercial vehicle. Welcome to ET Auto, Mr. Seth. It's
Thank you
always a
very
pleasure
much.
talking to you.
Thank you.
We have seen commercial vehicle is on a growth trajectory for last few months. How do you see the industry moving forward? Do you think it's a cyclical or it is going to grow for a long time?
Commercial vehicle industry has always been a cyclical industry with a cycle of 5 years, 6 years. This year, for the first time after 11, 12, we'll be crossing the numbers. The tonnage is of course more, but the numbers only now in 17, 18 we are crossing that. As a industry I'm talking about. And we expect next 2-3 years to be strong growth cycle.
So we achieved the peak of 8 lakh units in 2012. Do you think, when do we achieve that target again? When we will be able to achieve that peak of 8 lakh units?
The peak of 11, 12 we are crossing now.
You will cross?
By March 2018, that peak would have been crossing it. More in MHCV industry.
So we have seen that there is a higher growth in high tonnage. Do you think slowly the lower end of the commercial vehicle becoming obsolete, or how do you look at that, the market dynamics changing going forward?
For about 40 years, India used to produce 10 tonners and 12 tonners. That vehicle over a period of time, last 10 years, has become more and more obsolete. Because now with the advent of better roads, point to point goods are carried by 40 tonners, 30 tonners. Because it's per ton it's less expensive to carry the material. It's going to be a hub and spoke model. As soon as they come to the city, the goods will go by 2 tons, 3 tons. As a matter of fact, today the cities don't want the trucks to come inside. They are only allowing 7 or 8 hours.
How do you see the transformation to BS6? What kind of burden it is going to have on automotive, and how Setco, companies like Setco, is geared up for this transformation? How much you want to invest going forward?
BS6, the timeline is so short. This is going to be a challenge for a lot of vehicle manufacturers. The world over, they took 7 years. In India, we are asking them to do it within 3 or 4 years. As far as Setco Auto is concerned, we are ready to face the challenge. We have already started moving into that. Some of the items that were required is already implemented. So we'll have no problems in meeting BS6 standards.
You have been into clutch specifically. You have focused in the last few decades. You have graduated from being a good share of the company being at the hand of Gujarat government. Then in 2005, you completely, became independent. How the journey has been, and going forward, do you see yourself diversifying into new product lineup, and what is the plan going forward? Because the market is transitioning and there is a lot of change happening.
When we started the company, we are making clutches for all types of vehicles, cars, tractor, trucks and everything. In 2000, we took a policy decision that we'll only go for the commercial vehicles, particularly heavy duty. We saw that heavy duty trucks are running all over the world, and if India is going to progress, India will also have a heavy duty trucks in time to come by. And there were no clutch manufacturer in India at that time manufacturing that clutch. So we went for a technical collaboration, invested heavily in that, and we have not looked back after that. Commercial vehicle industry has been a very growing industry in last 15 years. Also, internationally, there are not that many clutch players in this particular space. So we thought that we should continue to concentrate, and we have reaped benefits, not only us as a company, but all our stakeholders, shareholders. They have tremendously benefited in buying our shares over a period of time.
Your share price has gone up from rupees 2 to 60, 65 now, and there has been a lot of benefit to the shareholders.
Actually, in 2005, when the Gujarat government did disinvested, the price they disinvested was 20 rupees. But if you consider bonus shares and then the split, that 20 is today almost equivalent to 1,000 rupees. So it's about 50 times benefit in last 15 years, plus dividend. We have been paying dividend continuously from the year 2005.
How is your export focus progressing? Can you give us some?
Your earlier question on the clutch also, recently we decided to diversify in the tractor industry. Tractor industry also, the change is taking place from the low horsepower tractors, we are going for a high horsepower tractors. There are limited players in that field and there is a demand going to be there because it's becoming more mechanized, the farm sector. They require heavy duty tractors. So we feel there is a very good opportunity going into that. Plus of course, international market. In India today, we are the largest and having over 80-85% of India's OE market. As far as tractor market is concerned, we are entering into that. Export market such as companies such as Daimler, MAN, they have been very happy with our performance in India and they have put us on their world procurement RFQ area. So that's growth is going to come. There are some vehicle manufacturers who are not in India are already in talks with us for supplying clutches to there. So I think in next few years our good growth will come out of not only the commercial vehicles but out of the tractor industry and the export market.
So what is your investment plan? Because these all will take a lot of investment.
Yes.
And how do you see tractor industry contributing to your revenue?
You will be very surprised to know that in last 4 years, when the vehicle industry was not doing that well, we continued our investment. We invested heavily in our R&D center, which came up few years back, put in about 40 crores in that. We put in import substitution, which we were importing some components and making it in our factory. That was another investment of 40 crores. Neither of the two will add to our top line, but it makes company very strong. Very difficult to dislodge. About 2 years back, we took a very policy decision that we will set up a foundry. We were finding castings were difficult to come by, and if we have to grow, we need a good foundry, and we invested overall 200 crores in that. And we are so happy today, world over there is a shortage of castings. So not only for us, but this foundry is ready to cater to our other customers also. So in last few years we have invested creating subsidiaries. Now we are going to be expanding in a major way our production facilities, upgrading our systems also. So in next 2.5 years we are looking at a further investment of about 250 crores, which will take us to 1,000 crore plus industry in next 3 years.
So what are the key strategy apart from tractor? Is there any other plan that you want to introduce?
Tractor and the exports and meeting the commercial vehicle because the trucks are getting upgraded. So at the moment we are concentrating on that, but of course we are always open to new challenges, new interests. So as and when that comes, we will be exploring. We'll have that strength also with us.
What is your top line target? You are 500 crore last fiscal year.
This year we would be near crossing 600, but in next 2-3 years we are looking at 1,000 crore plus.
Company. Okay. How do you look at the recent, custom duty hike on component import? Do you think it will have a dent on your business as well?
Well, immediately yes, because we do import certain components. Nobody makes it in India. So almost about large part. So it will have a little dent maybe for a month or so. Ultimately the customer will pay for it.
So it will pass on.
It will get passed on to
Commodity
the
price
customer.
has also been rising. So how it is because the revision of price from your customer comes once or maximum twice a year. So how do you manage all these kinds of ups and downs in commodity and prices and your
Very difficult.
yeah.
It's a very important question. It's very difficult. With our OE customers, we do price increase maybe once or twice in a year. In between, the prices go up. We have to absorb it. So it's an inherent part of the business. But you have to make it up on a higher tonnage by better productivity, better efficiency. Then, as you buy more quantity, you can negotiate better pricing also. So altogether, it's a matching up. So today, there are no complaints on the subject.
Last question: how do you see commercial vehicle, going forward in next 2-3 years?
I think, see, basically the government is making a lot of investment in the road sector, infrastructure, power, dams. So all those infrastructure requirements requires more cement, steel and all that. So the commercial vehicle industry will continue to grow. And recently, government has declared in the last budget that large investment in the farm sector and the rural sector. In India, as you know, that now the growth in the cities is very limited. The real growth has to come from the rural area and housing, other things. So I think we see the very good growth for the next few years.
What percentage of contribution you expect to come from exports and farm sector going forward for Setco Auto?
In about 2-3 years' time, we are looking at about maybe 25% between the farm sector on a higher growth. So whatever it is today, it will more than triple.
Thank you so much, sir, for talking to it here.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Pleasure meeting you.
Thank you.